Hey Nippers, it's me, Wild Neptune. New favorite items are going to be announced very soon. But what are they? Let's go. So, I want to make this little video here, just speculating on what they might be. I obviously have no inside connections to Shift Up or anything like that, so I do not know what it's going to be. So this is going to be my official guessing, predictions, if you will, on what the favorite items are. Now, right here, you'll see that these are all the current favorite item Nikkes in the game. Some of them made them a lot better, some of them made them a little bit better. In one unfortunate case, it made the character worse. Look at you, Senti. Now, there is no real, if a character's bad, it gets favorite item, or if it's, usable and just kind of falling off because of favorite item, or if it's PvE or PvP, there doesn't really seem to be, a common thread right there. Because let's be honest here, Senti and Moran, they got them, and Senti was already meta in PvP, and she got a favorite item, and, well, unfortunately, it made it worse in PvP, but she got one while she was already very, very good. Same thing with Moran and Bay, right? Moran and Bay were already good in PvP. Moran not at the point where she was, as dominant. Right now, Moran is one of the best PvP units in the entire game at the moment. PvE too, but I think in PvP, she's definitely the best taunt burst one in the game. It's her again. It's her or noise, but but Moran's overall survivability and just how much punishment she can take because of her heal on the burst one in PvP, really, really strong. But she was already good in PvP before that. Same thing with Bay. Bay, actually, favorite item didn't actually make her that much better because she was already very good in PvP to begin with. Helm and Privity. So Privity pretty much fell off a cliff before her favorite item, but Helm was somewhat usable before she got hers. Now remember, Helm got hers a while ago, so you think now, yeah, Helm now with a favorite item is worthless. But Helm, right before she got hers, from what I understand, not the worst unit in the world, borderline usable. And then you have units like Zwei, Tuve, stuff like that, who were total nothings before they got theirs. And he can argue that Zwei has only recently gotten the glow up because of the favorite item, because now more teams and combinations are being found out to be used with her. So, again, there is no real correlation to a unit being good or bad, and that's why they get the favorite item. However, what is a indication is a few rules that the units are going to have before they get them. First of all, it has to be a base version of the Nikke, so no Nikkes that are alternates. So something like Main Mast will not get one because she is an alternate version of a character which is normal Mast. Also, Pilgrims and Overspecs are out, so something like Crown is not going to get a favorite item. What they've been doing for Pilgrims that are not very good, like Isabel, is they give them a character to pair with them. So in Isabel's case, it was Arcana, and I have too many characters here. Not this Arcana, the normal one right here. Here we go. So that's what they're reviewing there. And finally, obviously, collabs and limited characters are out too. So that means no E favorite item or things like that. Just base versions. So I'm going to give my official 4 characters I think are going to be the ones that are going to get the favorite items. However, first, I will go over some characters I do not think, and ones that I would not be surprised get them. Alright, so first off, some characters that I do not think are going to get them, and would be very, very surprised if they got one. One of them is going to be Alice. And Alice for a couple reasons, actually. One is that she's still good. Right, and not only good, I know I said that it doesn't matter how good a character is. Some characters have been very good and have gotten them. However, most of the time that is PvP, and Alice is okay in PvP. She's more of a counter pick in a lot of cases. Sometimes you'll see her in Champion Arena, but rarely anymore in SP and things like that. Really not a room for her in a 3-team setup. But in PvE, she was used last solo raid. And she's actually kind of usable this solo raid if you have nothing else. I say this one. I mean the wind one, which got canceled and is coming back. So there's that. But the other reason too is that I don't think Shift Up wants to buffer. That's what I think it is, and it all has to do with the with her sniper mechanic, and that's really what it is. She's one of those characters that has tested the patience of the anti-cheat and things like that for as long as she has been in the game, and I kind of think they want to leave her where she is, because if they change her where you can no longer do like the quick shots with her and the fast gauging, that will like really upset, I think, the people who are legitimately very good at using her, and if they make her better overall, I think it would upset people that are like not maybe the best at doing her manual mode. So I kind of think this kind of want to leave her where she is. Another character that I would be very, very surprised if she got a favorite item and to be a character. Now, I'll be surprised if any of you actually know who this character is. And it's going to be Epinel. Yes, the most forgotten character in the entire game. First of all, she's not even really centered on the screen. Like, she could be like a little bit. Well, first of all, she's like one of the shortest characters in the entire game. But like, look at this. It doesn't even look like they tried. She's not even centered or anything like that. But yeah, unfortunately, she's just a character I think they've forgotten about. There have been too many memes and videos about her already. As far as I know, she still has not been in this story at all, even like a side story or event. She's just like missing. I mean, Rumani has been in a story recently, but Epinel, nope. Oh, but to be fair, Epinel was shooting in Arc Black Rangers like little banner thing, so there is that. The final character where I would be quite surprised if they got one would actually be a character like Volume or Aria or Noise. Even though I can see potential in them, I do think that they want to give them like their own overall story or something like that before this happens. I do know that Arya in particular is one of the characters that they do want to focus on more, so she maybe has a little bit more of a say in like how to favorite item, but again, like Arya in particular is almost at Epinel levels of being forgotten about. Also, I also think that Volume in particular has lost a lot of popularity with the player base just because she's like, I don't know, her personality just isn't it, and I mean a real personality. She's kind of a B. So just a few characters I think might get them. Not my official picks, but ones I would not be surprised about. Obviously, people are clamoring for Naga and Tia and the bunny girls, so Blanc and Noor. Well, I wouldn't be surprised, especially because we pretty much know that the summer event might be school related overall. I do think that because of the teaser, obviously, like there was the penguin, which is Ray, and there was the iguana, which is Tia, and we do know that Naga's getting a skin and all of that. I do think it lines up, though, a little bit too well for the favorite items. I do not think they would be, like, promoting, oh yeah, here's Naga and Tia, right? And they're getting, like, special altar skins, stuff like that, or Marciana, too, something like that, and then also give them, at the same time, their base version's favorite items. So that's why I don't think that's going to be the case this time. Even though I might see in the future, maybe next rotation they get them. I think bunny girls are a little more viable this time around, just because they probably won't have a story presence this time around. And remember, we didn't really get a bunny girl event this year yet, although there's still time, right? Maybe like in fall we'll get one. So that's why I think Blanc and Noor are a little more likely to get their favorite items this time around. And I do think that if Blanc gets one, Noor will get one, and if Naga gets one, the team would get one also. I do think that they would do them in pairs that way. Alright, now it's time for my official prediction. The first one is going to be Sora. First off, why Sora? Well, just look at the skin. Why else would they give her this skin like so long ago if it wasn't going to be for a favorite item? Like, you know, like I mean, just let's look here, okay? Now, also, she's been in the story a little bit more, right? They have been featuring her squad more too, and I don't think her squad mates, as much as people want them to be characters, I don't think they're quite ready to be released yet. I think they need a little bit of a design update before they get, official Nikke status right now. But as far as story goes, what could they do to her kit to get her better? Well, first of all, she's the first one that doesn't have CDR. And she also only really heals and stuff. She does some stuff with like enemy parts, like a lot of wind characters do, stuff like that. But she's pretty much a healer, and she also dispels a debuff, and which makes her okay in PvP. She has okay burst gen actually, so not the worst character in PvP, not optimal, but usable. Now, what could they do? Obviously, give a CDR on her S1 is a start for PvE capabilities. Without that, she would have to give some extremely strong buffs to be used outside of that. Like, you think someone like Zwei, who has a really, really strong buffs, right, as the first one without a CDR, is consistently not really been used that often just because it's so hard to fit her on a team, and it's more often than not that Miranda is just being used instead. Or a unit has a specifically niche like shotgun. So like Tube is the first one without CDR, but because she's so vital for the shotgun team, she's just kind of put there because, she's the best slot for that. Sora, if she doesn't have CDR, would either have to have a kit that competes some way in a niche with something like Miranda, or be best in slot for a team that is used a lot, like shotgun. So that's basically what they would have to do with her there. Now, as far as her other skills go, I don't know, right? Maybe make this like also increase max HP. Maybe give them like a shield, like Indom, something like that for PvP. PvE though, like they would definitely just have to have her buff the characters like a little bit more than this to be viable, especially when the bar for first ones has been raised so much in the recent year. The second character is actually going to be the best character, at least viability-wise, of the four, and that's going to be Nero. So Nero is actually an okay character in PvP, definitely in the, like, you put her on a team, and you don't feel the worst about it type deal. Now, Nero's big problem is that she's a tank that needs sustain to really proc her effects, but she just doesn't sustain herself. And I'll be honest here with you. The only thing she needs somehow is a self-heal. That's it, right? Like, nothing else I don't think really matters. Like, maybe they'll do something like, beginning of the battle, they activate, like, something. Be in the battle, like, she has, like, Indom for, like, a couple seconds, something like that. I don't know, right? But for PvP, what's important here is that she gets a self-heal. So, because of skill 1 right here, you see her damage taken, it goes down, and then when recovery takes effect, she gets more damage taken reduction, and it stacks up to 5 times, and she obviously has a taunt too, and all the stuff also. What just basically happens here is that you have to bring her with a character that not only heals, but heals consistently in small amounts several times to really maximize her ability. And what ends up happening a lot of times here is because you don't really build, she's not good enough right now to be used in SP most of the time, so she's only be a character you really see in Champion Arena, is that even though you have this team with all this tankiness, all this sustain, you don't actually have enough damage to punish the enemy team for, not being able to, like, kill Nero and stuff like that right away. And eventually, you're the one that runs out of the gas first because you lack the damage to kill the enemy team. So it's kind of counterintuitive that this like tanky team that's designed on just outlasting the opponent is gonna die because the other team outlasts them. But that's what happens a lot of the times with her. And giving her self-heal, it frees up that another burst 3 slot. And that's really, really important. Like, I think that makes her maybe not a meta tank in PvP, but really, really, really good in PvP. Also, the fact that she's a burst 2 tank is kind of viable too, because it puts her like with like Noah, what do you call it? Bay, and then you have her too. So you have like 3 burst 2 taunters in PvP, which it can be really, really nice overall. Now, what can it do for PvE? I don't actually know. Because her kit is almost all defensive and pretty selfish overall, so they would have to really give her a lot of buffs for PvE to be viable. The third character is going to be Trony. And Trony's a character who I personally really like. I think she's cool. She's a gamer, everything like that. So, now, as far as her skills go and what they could do, really simple. Just like do what they did with something like Privity and just increase all the numbers by a lot and tack on some more skills, right? And that's really it. Like, I don't know. Maybe have a way defense increases a little bit more. Maybe have a damage taken debuff. Maybe, have elemental damage increase. Maybe increase this right here to have a higher cap. Maybe make it charge faster, right? What I think these damage dealers here, they just have like numbers, just basically make it like easier to do. Now, she's fire, so I don't know, maybe make her a little more of a niche overall. It didn't want to be like mega good and everything. But yeah, that's basically what I think they could do. Just increase their numbers overall. Now, why Trony? Well, obviously we have the Arc Black Ranger stuff and all that things like there. Also, I think that as a character overall, she is one of the ones that is most in line in terms of like where she is personally in the story that could get one, and it kind of makes sense. But there's still one more left. The final character is going to be Sugar. Why Sugar? Well, Premier has one, Milk has one, it's time for Sugar to get hers. Now, what could they do with her kit? I'll be honest, I don't know. It's harder in her case than just raise her numbers because she's a character that wants to be used in Shotgun Team. And, even though there's been some cope in what to do with the Shotgun Team, it's actually Burst 3 Iron also that kind of hurts her too. If she was like Wind, then yeah, really, really easy to buff her overall for Shotgun. But there's Bunny Soda that exists, so she would have to like replace somebody like Summerdoro or Drake, something like that, which is going to be really, really hard to do. So if she does get a favorite item, I will be interested to see how exactly they buff her. Alright, so that's the video. If you liked it, please give me a like, subscription, comment down below who you think are going to get the favorite items. Which ones do you want to get the favorite items? Anyway, I'm Wild Neptune. Been a good one. Till next time.